Well, it's been a while since the last video. Hopefully, audio's not too bad. But there's been a lot of changes to the car since then. Mainly, some maintenance stuff. Obviously, some other things, performance. So, a few of the bigger changes to the car. And I could have done, I guess, DIYs to everything, but honestly, I didn't really feel like recording at the time. But since the last video, which I believe was an exhaust related video, I'm not too sure, but since then the car now has a full 3-inch exhaust all the way from the ARM catless downpipe all the way back to MBRP quad tips. So there's that. There's the APR 6054 turbo, Unitronics intercooler, 2-step coulter plugs. I'm currently running the Denso IH27s. I forget the part number on them. I want to say it's like 7950 or something like that. I don't know, but if you look up Denso IH27, you'll find them. There's also the Porsche Macan Brembo brakes. I've got those. I was coming up on needing brakes. Wasn't really happy with, obviously, the factory A3 brakes. So I kind of pieced together everything. I know there's companies that sell the complete kits with everything you need to do the swap, but I just kind of pieced everything over time, before I actually needed the brakes. It's kind of hot. Let me turn up the AC. Hopefully you don't really pick up the AC and the audio. But yeah, like I was saying, I just kind of pieced everything together, got what I wanted, versus some of the options offered in some of the kits. But so there's that, right? There is the SB air intake, which I've had for a while. A good friend of mine sent it to me. He had it just sitting at his house and not using it, so he was nice enough to send that over, as long as I covered shipping, which, I mean, hey, basically, really a free intake. So who could complain, right? What else? I ran I ran Tesla wheels for a while. I really liked how they look. I'll post pictures. I don't have them anymore because I ended up selling them to someone at work. But I did test fit them to see if they cleared the Brembos, because he never did anything with them. But unfortunately, I just can't run them. They don't clear the Brembos, at least not the Macan ones. And realistically, I'd need too much of a spacer to clear them anyways. And the fitment just wouldn't be what I want. So those off the list. I am coming up on needing tires. Really considering Michelin AS4s, maybe PS4s, but realistically, I mean, we get like one good week of snow, but maybe just sticking with AS4s is the better idea. Let me know what you guys think, or if you've ran either of those tires. Let me know what your thoughts are on those. But anyways, so I am on an ethanol mix. So I'm on E30 with the EQT standard low pressure fuel pump and the Cobb Flex Fuel kit, which realistically I'm not even making use of it because I'm not running a flex tune, but I am running an E30 tune from Sneaky, and the car feels great, other than the constant spinning. And crazy enough, I just passed a 370 on like drag wheels with fat tires, so who knows. But anyways, I'm spinning too much, even in third, just because the tires they need to be replaced. But so far, that's all that's been changed on the car since the last video. One, haven't really felt like recording much. Two, haven't had the time. And I don't know. Hopefully I can get back to that now. I do have some plans of videos or shorts that are like more or less just generic or vague ideas, nothing really concrete. But hopefully I'll get back to uploading a little more. And what else? That's pretty much it. I do plan to get like an exhaust video up, one before I get this Vibrant Ultra Quiet resonator installed. I do have that. Got it for a crazy deal on Marketplace. Hopefully it's real. I mean, I don't really think there's many knockoffs, right, of that resonator, but it seems that for most people running similar exhaust setups, it seems to be a pretty common, I guess you could say, mod or modification to the exhaust itself, because it does seem to have this like rasp in between, you know, like 23 to 2500. Let's see if you can hear it. I guess I wasn't giving it enough gas, but it has this weird rasp, kind of like a crossover, right? And I hate it. Also, maybe it'll help tone down the car a bit when I'm just idling, right? I like how it sounds when I'm flooring it, but it's just, you know, if you're just kind of cruising, you know, after work, a long day at work, and you're just at cruising speeds, it can be annoying. Maybe it's just a part of getting older. I don't know. But main reason being that rasp, and, you know, second reason being just toning down the exhaust volume a bit. It's loud. I have 2 kids, and they sleep with sound machines. I don't even park my car in the driveway, especially not facing the house. So it's not in the driveway, it's parked in the street. I have it to where the exhaust is like, the way it's facing, it's not gonna be like in anywhere near directly in front of the house or anything like that. I'm probably parked closer to being in front of my neighbor's house next to us than our own house. I'll start the car in the mornings and it never fails. One of the 2 kids wakes up. So I've kind of got this like jank silencer, I guess, I made. I got the idea of, well, because I was looking for exhaust silencers, obviously, that you could just temporarily just stick in while the car idles down. Once the car idles down, it's fine. I can, you know, it's not loud, but it's just the initial startup, even during the summer. Winter's worse, of course. But so there's this seller or manufacturer, I don't know. This guy, 3D Cabin, he essentially 3D prints these silencers. You just kind of like stick into the exhaust tips and, like, you know, twist them as you're pushing them in, so it kind of like catches and it stays. You just obviously only have them in while the car idles down. And too many texts. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. But basically, I had the idea of like, well, why don't I use, it's not pool noodles. It's, how do I explain it? It's almost like pool noodles, but they're like the equivalent of a pool noodle that you would use for like your water heater plumbing, right? That's what I use. So I grabbed one long one from like Lowe's or something. I grabbed some HVAC tape and some duct tape. And I pretty much cut them to a certain length. I think it was like 2-3 inches, seemed like enough. And the end that goes into the exhaust tip, I obviously taped up or bound a little tighter than the end that's on the outside, so it kind of like catches or has some type of friction or whatever. But so I did that, you know, did a layer of duct tape, and pretty much with cutting it 2 to 3 inches long gave me enough to where I had enough so that it like just fits in the exhaust tip. Like it has to be like kind of compressed before I stick it in there. So I do that. Do a layer of duct tape, do a layer of, can this guy get out? I don't know if this guy can get out. I mean, the car in front of him is too close anyways. But I do a layer of duct tape, then I do a layer of the insulation tape. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't really think there was a point in me doing the HVAC tape, realistically. But I did it anyways. More or less just to make sure I had enough girth, so it wouldn't like get shot out of the exhaust, which it still does. The exhaust, once I start the car, it still shoots it out. They don't stay in, so I have to like get painter's tape and anchor it to the rear diffuser. Oh, that's another thing. I got the ECS rear diffuser for the exhaust. Obviously, the stock exhaust on this car is, I don't think she's going. All right. The stock diffuser on this car, rear diffuser, whatever, is only for dual exit, which is, you know, what the A3S line has. But what I had to do to fit the quad exit is cut the factory diffuser, right? Since it's like its own separate piece from the rear bumper. So I cut it to where it fit the quad exit, and it actually looked OEM. Like you couldn't tell that it was cut unless you actually got up and inspected it. But either way, on Marketplace, came across a crazy deal, as I normally do, and the guy was selling it as the Maxton rear diffuser, Maxton Designs rear diffuser for, you know, the S3, which I like, but if I'm being honest, I like the design of the ECS tuning one a little bit more. So, you know, my luck, it was actually the ECS tuning one, which is probably just some generic one that you could probably buy on eBay anyways. And yeah, that's what I got. So, and damn, that's crazy. That also reminds me, I do have an EQT DSG stage tune, being that staged. Why staged? Well, the 6054 would be the equivalent of running a Vortex, a standard Vortex, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's what I remember from my conversation with them. But anyways, yeah, back to what we were discussing, which I actually forgot. Something about the diffuser, and I don't know what we were talking about before that. But anyways, I do plan, oh, the resonator, right. So I do plan to get some type of sound clips to have some type of comparison to how the car is now, before the resonator gets installed. And then future plans, probably not much for this car. It's like crazy high mileage. Some of y'all wouldn't believe it, but I've got like just over 250,000 miles. So realistically, you know, on top of being the daily, I don't really plan to do anything crazy with the car. Maybe add MPI. I do need to get the valves cleaned soon. I am doing the Haldex service here soon. I got the car when it had 200K, and I'm well over, you know, let's assume which according to the Carfax history that I had someone pull for me before I bought the car, the guy was very meticulous in the care of the vehicle. So no, I lied. I got the car with like 210. So let's just assume that, or 211, yeah, 211. Let's just assume that the guy was doing all the maintenance, right, as he should have, like every 30K. I figured I'll just do the Haldex when I get it at, you know, that 24K. So I'm like at maybe 10,000 miles over. But it shouldn't be a big deal. I honestly don't really drive the car that crazy. Not like when I had the RS. On the RS, I was always like flooring it, always beating on it. But I mean, who wouldn't, right? You've got a 6-speed manual, all-wheel drive. So, I mean, kind of expected to, right? But not with this car. Nah, a lot of times I would just be heading to work or like to the gym or home from work, and people will line up with me, and either I'm with the family, so I'm not gonna act out or race anybody, or I'm just tired, right? Like I'm just not in the mood. But regardless of that, it is a fun car, very fun car, even with what I've got now. As far as power numbers though, I honestly have no idea because I've never dynoed the car. Realistically, I guess I could do like an e-dyno and get a good idea or like ballpark of where I'm at with a log. Um, but I get too much spin. I get too much spin with my tires now, so it'd be like very inaccurate and kind of pointless. I'll probably do it when I get new tires. Same thing, I could get like draggy readings and stuff, but for what? I'm just gonna spin like crazy. So it's kind of pointless. Um, I guess other than simply seeing if there's any improvement with new tires, which obviously, I'd probably say tires are about like 30 to 40% life left. Realistically, probably closer to 30. They've lasted me a while only because for a bit I was working from home and didn't have to drive. But yeah, okay. I feel like I'm going on a rant now. Point is, car's gone through a lot since the last video. Haven't really done any DIYs. I forgot what I did to the car. Oh, I think I actually streamed. I streamed when I did the brake upgrade on the car. I don't think I have a VOD of it up now or anymore. But yeah, I did that live on my Twitch. But anyways, if you came back and watched the video, thank you for coming by. Thanks for hanging around. I'll try to get more stuff up there. Maybe shorts of just driving around, like footage of driving around. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you for coming by. Thanks for hanging out and sticking with me through the lack of content, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.